I had this art teacher who was absolutely fantastic, and she just changed my life, absolutely. She was really supportive and helpful and actually made me want to be an art teacher. That was like my dream when I was growing up. I had no ambitions to actually be an artist. I just wanted to be an art teacher because I wanted to be like her. When I first started freelancing and I just had no money, I mean, I was working in a cafe, I was making maybe $6 an hour, and I remember I ran out of paper and I had to use paper bags to draw on. I ended up actually using the art to apply for a scholarship, and I actually got it, and when I showed it to them, they were like, "Oh, so what was your conceptual choice behind choosing the paper bags?" And I said, "Well, I was just really broke and I had no paper," and they were like, "Oh, okay." So I've wanted to run a residency program since I was in SUNY Purchase, my undergrad program 10 years ago. I was doing different community arts related projects and setting up art shows in alternative spaces and setting up shows with artists who don't always have a chance to show in the traditional art models and who are, maybe outside of the gallery scene or outside of the museum scene, certainly. And so we would set up spaces in people's studios, we would have shows. I've done shows in basements of theaters and just kind of whatever space is open. I've just always been interested in making art opportunities for people that are outside of traditional and already established venues. So it's always been really inspiring for me to create new opportunities for people. So I had mentioned to a friend that I was looking to start a residency program, and she said, "Oh, my friend Piper is looking for someone to start a residency program with too, and she lives upstate and it's on this beautiful farm." And when I came out to meet her, she said, "Well, I'm looking for someone to run the residency." And I said, "Well, I'm looking for a residency to run." And it was just so easy that it just happened. And then after that moment, everything started building really seamlessly for both of us because we're both so committed to doing this.
I previously explored the parts of art that separated people from each other, and the conservation aspect, which was just very technical and very removed from the actual people making the art. So a lot of it was historical, a lot of it was very reverential, and I appreciated that. There's something that arrives when you can be sounding boards to each other, when there's a sense for a dialogue that captures something that doesn't exist within one person specifically. That one person, if they are making that element, it will be speaking of and to them, but then something in between the doer and the receiver gets captured when you're doing something together. I think art as a role is such a powerful force for bringing together. One time I was living in Cleveland and friends came to visit, and there was a festival going on where people were having a street art setup where you could just grab a piece of board or a piece of paper and they had the paints there and they were ready to go. And it was just such an amazing way to meet my neighbors. It was an amazing way to get my creative excitement and energy out there, and to share that with my friend as her first introduction to the city. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing. I need to make sure that wherever I live in the future, I want something like that to happen." In Freehold Art Exchange, artists can come, and it's an exchange with the community as well as an exchange between artists here. You can do a certain amount of time working, and that will then allow you to have so much time in the studio with access to all of our space. There's a lot that we think of in terms of stepping outside of the monetary world that we live in and let it go back to the bartering system. There's something wonderful about arts that can bring people together so wonderfully.
When people are here, it's an electric space.